problem is if you stand it up, it's going to break it on the bottom. It's got to go up and down. So that's why we're probably, pretty soon, we're probably going to end up bringing the excavator over here, or the tractor with the front, like put a strap on one of those forklift blades, and put that that bolt, that little thing on it, plate, screw that to it, and then be able to lift it straight up and lower it down with that, so that it's going up and down on there. Because we're going to have trouble if we start trying to pry it up. It's going to start peeling the bottom off of it. We've been getting the first 2 panels ready, and we are about to put our first corner together. It's a time-consuming process. Got to unstack everything, get everything set up. We are about to put the first 2 panels together and secure those together. I'm going to have to declutter this area because it's getting out of hand. Well, we'll stand this thing up, move it over into place. All right. There. Kind of sorted there.
This 286 is gonna go to the phone, right? It's not going all the way out because
we're progressing along. There's a bit of a learning curve here, but we're picking up a little bit of speed. We've got the header in place at the top of the window. We're getting ready to lift up and place the window piece there. Well, all the sunlight and happiness have run out here, so we are calling it a day, cleaning things up. We learned a lot, we struggled, and we fixed a few things. We figured some things out. I'm gonna go home, look at the plans, figure out how we're going to approach that same sort of window tomorrow when we're continuing this wall. Like I said, it was a big learning curve. Monstrous learning curve, but we had some successes in there. We figured some things out. Got a few things that we're going to have to adjust. The roof line, that stands proud a little bit. We measured everything more than once, made our cuts, put our jacks in there, and it still ended up being just a little bit high. I'm going to come back and obviously trim away the insulation that's poking out. I'll do that tomorrow once it's had time to set up a little bit. I will probably just draw a line, chalk a line up there, and cut that once I get the 2x6s in and see what I need to do. But for right now, that's our line. That's the beginning. So we're going to come in here tomorrow, start putting more pieces on here, and figure out what else we need to learn. Good morning and welcome back to Breakheart Orchard. This is day 2 of the build. I'm sure that's gonna stretch into days I can't count, but we got started yesterday with the SIPS panels. We are back out here today. It's pushing 10 o'clock right now. It was 18 degrees when we left the house this morning, so we ran an errand real quick and let it warm up just a little bit. It's almost above freezing here now, so the sun is out, getting things nice and toasty. Got a burn barrel going over here for my wife so she's comfortable when she gets here. And we are getting ready to take another shot at this and get some of these panels up here. What we ran into yesterday because we are inexperienced with this, was putting together this window. This is a 5x5 window. Put the jack stands in underneath the 3 2x8 headers up at the top. I need to come by and trim this, but I was waiting until today so it would set up. We put 3 2x8 headers that go across there, and then the 2x6 underneath of that. We put the jack stands underneath of that, put it all together, and then we assembled the top piece. We put the 2x6s that went inside this side and 2x6s that went inside this side, with the intention of bringing it up, nailing it across the bottom. You got a 2x6 that runs across the top, and then we were going to toe nail them together along the sides in the front and the back. Well, getting it up there, once we did that, was quite a chore. So the next window we do, we are going to approach a little bit differently. This is a learning process, and I don't do this for a living. This is my own house. We just put our next panel up, and I never turned the camera on. But the nice thing is we've got 50 or 100 panels left to do, so there'll be plenty. Well, we're getting the splines in there for the next panel to go up. We also just attached the inside framing to the SIPS panel. Exactly call it the most elegant, but we got it up there and it's working. So the line of the wall is really starting to take shape. I really like the way it looks. It's definitely bold. It's bigger than I thought it was. We've made some adjustments in what we're going to do to try and mount this window in here. Yesterday when we were putting this one in, as I said before, we had the rest of the frame assembled, and we slid it in between. We slid K3 in between K1 and K4, and then we toe nailed it in. It went down and it sat on the header. The header was already in place. Getting it down on the header was difficult, and it ended up standing slightly proud at the top, so that's something we're going to have to deal with later on. This time we went ahead and put the header plate into the piece that sits above the window. We're going to lift it up, mount it in with a temporary jack underneath of it to support it, And then we're going to attach the other piece to the side of it, K9, leaving it sitting on the bottom but not fully attached. So Pedro just put in the first dimensional spline on this side. It has the header sticking off on the bottom there. We're gonna lift it up, get the other dimensional spline, the other 2x6 that's going into K6 above it. We're gonna get that nailed to this one so that we can lift it up, foam that, slide it in, secure it with a temporary brace underneath of it. Now, because of some of the difficulties we had before trying to get the trying to line it up and get the spline, the dimensional spline, into the other piece, we ripped about a 1/16, maybe even a 32nd off the edge of this one sticking out, just to let it get in there a little bit better. We're gonna have plenty of sealant inside of it, and then we're going to go ahead and nail it in. We've got our roof line established here. Got a few alterations I'm gonna have to make. Those 2 points at the top should have come together, and they didn't. And it's an interesting dilemma. This is 5 feet here. We are slightly, the seams are matched up well, but we're slightly raised up on this side. And that changes the angle just a little bit. And I'm guessing it changed it enough that it put it off there from hitting that peak. Because again, all the panels are all the way down over here. That roof line is straight, it's not crooked. Learning process is strong here. We're getting ready to wrap up, cleaning things up. My son-in-law needs to go home, travel back across the mountain to his family. We're tightening everything up and getting ready to put some more nails in it. We've already braced the inside. I say we like I actually was the one doing it. But it's already braced up in case we get any wind. It's also tied into the frame. So when you're building a house, there are a lot of interesting things that are going to happen. Sometimes you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to realize you made a mistake. You can't figure out quite how you did it, and then you are going to have to figure out how to fix that mistake. Case in point, that peak up there not matching up. But sometimes you don't make a mistake. Sometimes somebody else makes a mistake. And I believe we have just discovered where somebody else made a mistake. The reason that those 2 points don't match up is not that I'm off a skosh down here, although it'd be better to be completely perfect. We did check and make sure that our walls were plumb, and they are. The reason is that the panel manufacturer, I believe, made a mistake in cutting this panel. That panel should have a slope going this way, where the roof goes down toward the front of the house, and at the top, that slope should continue down this way. So that slope should have matched up and continued up to a peak. That means fixing it for me it's going to be interesting. It's fixable. I know it's fixable. So that's the thing that I'm certain of. I'm certain that I can correct this. I think they just made a mistake in cutting it, because that you can see that both the lines on that panel are going in the same angle. And if we look at the plans, we'll see that they're not supposed to be. And it is marked K9. And on the plans, this is K9. And K9 has 2 different angles. So these are supposed to meet and continue up. And if that panel, if that angle had been reversed, the position of those 2 lines would have met and it would have gone up. So, not our mistake, but a mistake, and it can be overcome. We just need to figure out how. I'll be calling the panel manufacturer in the morning. We'll talk about it, and I guess I need to be looking for the other one to see if it looks the same way. On the other side of the house, there's not a small panel like that. On the other side of the house, it's H7, and that panel doesn't have those 2 separate pieces to it. So it's only one spot where we're going to be running into that. It can be fixed. That's the big thing. We know that we can fix it. You know, when you're building a house, you're going to find lots of things that need to be fixed. So far, I love the line. Love the size of the windows. This is the office, so it's going to have a great view. We're going to go ahead and wrap up here. Hope you enjoyed it. Come on back and check us out again. We're going to be finishing this house, God, I hope in the next 3 to 6 months, 5 to 6. I'm hoping to have the roof on by the end of January. That's ambitious. That's what I'm trying to do. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We could always use the support. See y'all next time.